Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-hoo!
How's everybody doing today? Welcome to Hump Day. Hope you're having a good week so far. This is the Do What Is Necessary live stream coming to you live on a beautiful, sunny, warm spring day here in Columbus, Ohio. Welcome to the show. So if you can hear me okay, give me a thumbs up in the comments. Let me know you can hear me okay. Everything's coming through in the broadcast. We'll get all that tech stuff out of the way first off. And while you're at it, if you want to let me know where you're watching from, where you're tuning in from today, that way we can give shout outs to all of those people that are taking the time to give us a view today. So, and if you happen to be catching this on the replay, please put that in the comments too. Let me know you're watching this on the replay and where in the world you're watching from. I'm always curious to see where people tune in and watch the show from. So we want to welcome Scott Bateman to the show today, another repeat guest, repeat viewer to the Do What's Necessary live stream. Welcome, Scott. We're appreciative. Hope everything is back to normal for you folks down in Texas. It got pretty crazy there about a month or so ago. So thank you so much for those of you who tune in and watch week in and week out. I really appreciate it. We welcome back a long-time viewer, Robert Givens, to the show. He's out walking and watching the broadcast. Pretty cool stuff. So I just want to thank you so much for folks like Robert, those of you who are watching this on the replay, who watch every single week. We appreciate it. And if this is your first time, please put that in the comments too, that this is your first time catching the show. And let me know, again, what brought you to the show. If somebody passed that along, I always like to share the love and give back to those who give to us. So I certainly appreciate it. So if this is your first time or you're tuning in, you've never caught the show before, my name is Andrew Moon. I run a company called Orange Nomad. I spent the better part of my career in the IT industry. But now I'm all about helping people build calm lives. Calm is joyful, calm is sustainable, calm is a choice. And that is what the Do What Is Necessary live stream is all about, is taking that choice, throwing all that stuff away that people tell us what our life should look like, what our business should look like, and doing what is necessary for you. And that's what I'm all about, is helping people find what is actually necessary for you in your life. And again, I'm happy to have you tuning in today. So, looks like everybody can see and hear me okay. So that's good that we got all of the technical stuff out of the way. Now, this week I want to talk about, we'll dive right into the show. This is a topic that came up in the last week or so. And I say that in the last week or so, there was some new research. So those of you who are in the IT space, you'll kind of want to perk up, especially those of you who are selling Microsoft Office 365. As you know, if you haven't figured out already, Microsoft owns LinkedIn rather. So we're always, curious when they post research out, because there's some really interesting things that have really transpired in this work from home era that we're in. Again, if you haven't figured that out already, this isn't going anywhere. Where most of us have approached and surpassed. We're into year number 2 now. But I think, we've never been tied to our screens more, I think, than we have in the last year. And I think for a large part of it, it is survival. A large part of it's keeping ourselves entertained, keeping ourselves from absolutely losing our sanity. So I think in one aspect, it's great that we have all of this technology, and we want to thank those folks out there that are making it happen. Those folks who've been working 24/7, almost literally for the last year or so, to keep your IT, to keep your technology, to keep you working from home. And we want to give a shout out to all of the IT providers, especially folks like Matt Lee. So we appreciate you tuning in. Matt was on the show back in, I think, December. But it's folks like Matt who were keeping us secure. And that has really come to the forefront. Security, all of those things that we've kind of put off are now front and center when it comes to tech. Tech is really, that's really why most of us are still here today, and has kept us sane. But unfortunately, there is a dark side to that, and we've known that for some time, especially those of us who have worked in the tech business for any length of time. We know what a toll being engaged, being connected 24/7 can do to your psychology, can do to your happiness. And that's really what I want to address this week is kind of shining a different light on that and bringing that conversation out into reality, out into, it's been out in the public, but I don't think it's talked about enough. And I think especially as we go into year number 2, we're starting to see the ramifications of being glued to a screen. And before COVID started, many of us had, we worked a lot, some of us who are workaholics, but that never-ending work day has really, the lines between work and home are completely blurred, if they even exist now. And for a large part of people who have never worked from home and never worked remotely, they're now having to juggle all of those things in the last year. And now a lot of them are being told that they're not going back to the office. And, we're starting to see that many companies are forgoing bringing people back to the office and are leaving staff working from home permanently. And for a lot of people, that is a frustration. They can't separate the work-life balance isn't there. That work-life alignment is not there. And, that's one of the things, sorry, we'll flip screens here. And that's one of the things that I've seen in the last year or so is that people suffer from that. They don't know quite how to get around that. And Matt certainly agrees, being in IT, working with people 24/7, that it can be nerve-wracking. It does take its toll. So we'll see if we can get this screen. All right, we're back here. But for a lot of people, and especially us in the IT space, and if you're an entrepreneur and you own a company, that's what I want to talk about this week. And those of you who are working for IT companies, is to think about what is happening. And more importantly, to help your clients think about and deal with what is happening. Because, like I said, for a lot of people, this is uncharted territory. And if you don't own a business and if you've never run a business, it's uncharted territory for a lot of us. And what kind of made me think about this and kind of brought it to the forefront this week is this article that I read on LinkedIn. I subscribe to Workforce Insights, and they come out with research every now and again. And this in particular, again, is research and data now that is being posted on LinkedIn, but the data is being pulled from Microsoft. And how many of you actually sell Office 365? Please, drop that in the comments. Give me a like. If you're an IT provider that sells Office 365 products, let me know in the comments. But this is research that came out this week, and it was, in one way, it really wasn't surprising, but in another way, it kind of was. When we start to think about the magnitude of the digital stuff that's being thrown at us. And this is data that's between, February 2020 to February 2021. And a few things jumped out at me. And again, some of this may not surprise us, but again, it's how do we deal with that? How do we help our clients deal with the noise, the extra connectedness, all of the extra meetings? 148% increase in meetings. And keep in mind, this is only Microsoft data. This is Office 365, so those of you who are selling Microsoft Teams, those Exchange, Office, any of the Office 365 products, this is data specifically to just Microsoft. So when we take that data and we add on, the folks who are using Google, and the folks that are using other tools for meetings. This is what's just being tracked in Office 365 through Exchange, Teams, those types of things. But think about that. How many more meetings have you had since COVID began? Because we can't, we don't have that, water cooler banter going on. We don't have the ability to pop into somebody's office, so everything's about an extra meeting. And I don't know about you, but it's just that increase in screen time is an increase in anxiety, an increase in it takes its mental toll being in constant meetings, and again, this is just for work stuff. And we take outside of that, everything else is being done, virtually. So church services are held virtually, schools held virtually, happy hours held virtually. Everything's held virtually. So these are, that increase builds tension, builds frustration. People can't sleep. All of those things are really starting to take their toll. But what I want to specifically focus on, those of you who are IT providers, I look at this, because I spent so long helping people with technology, helping people improve their lives, their business with technology, that this specifically is what interests me, is how do we help people? And this isn't about throwing more technology at the issue. It's about helping people use those tools more effectively. And sometimes it requires a mindset shift. And this is, as we go through the data, 40.6 billion more emails. Now, I know this wasn't surprising to people because, our inboxes are full most of the time. And salespeople have only one means of getting a hold of people and blasting their messages out. So I'm not surprised that we've seen this increase in email. But again, helping people learn how to deal with it. How do we help people cope with that flood of inbox, and that the work stuff is not getting lost between all the sales messages and all the rest of the garbage that's out there? So I think, if I'm to tackle this from a technology perspective, one of the things that I would think about is doing a live stream, doing a webinar, doing a video, whatever it is, and teach people how to create rules inside of Outlook. How to create rules to automatically file or delete emails based upon, subjects, things, everything that I have every day that when I check email, that's what I do. Is this something that really needs to be in my inbox? And can I create a rule to move it or unsubscribe or delete it? I don't want it back in my inbox. And a lot of people, if we take that for granted as IT providers, there's a lot of people, we just assume they know how to do that. But I would start with that's how getting somebody's sanity back is, an easy way to do that. Do an online class for your customers and show them how to do that. It's a simple thing that, again, we would take for granted. We wouldn't think it would be necessary, but it's necessary. We have more email than we've ever had to deal with. And again, this is just Microsoft. This isn't Gmail. This isn't Yahoo. This isn't anything else that people are using to run their companies. And yes, people still run. I still see people run their companies on AOL and Yahoo emails. So, and I know if you're an IT provider, let me know in the comments some of the archaic email solutions that people are still using for business. Another one that we've seen an increase in is 45% increase in chat. So everybody's got chat now with Microsoft Teams. Everybody's rolling that out. Slack, whatever tool you're using, the amount of chat has increased. And this is just Microsoft. So this is just things inside of Teams. So when you add Slack and any other tool that's out there, people are inundated with how to deal with that. And people are overwhelmed by how to deal with that. And that's really, why I wanted to bring this subject and throw this out there, is because people are suffering from tech overwhelm and they don't know what to do with it. And many of us feel that way. Anybody feel this way? What you see on the screen here? I know that I have felt this way several times over the last year, where you're tired of the notifications. You're tired of I get tired of being in front of a screen And I'm glad that it's spring here in the Midwest, so we can get outside. So I'm excited about that. But again, it's just all of this pent up, rage that we see. And again, we see it. And you've talked to your customers. You probably have felt the other side of that if you're in the IT space. That you felt this frustration from people that are trying to manage all of that, trying to juggle all of that while keeping their own sanity. So again, if you've felt this way, please put that in the comment. I know I'm not the only one out here that has had some crazy days where you just feel like doing this with your laptop. But again, if you feel that way, how much, we have to look in terms of what our customers are experiencing, what our family, what other family members in other parts of the world or country are dealing with. And how do we help them to deal with that? And that's, what I wanted to really focus on the discussion this week is just 3 simple things that I'm implementing and the things that have helped me. We'll talk about that in a minute. But again, if you're still watching the show, let me know in the comments that, if you've felt this way, if you've seen or experienced the overwhelm that comes with just, again, all of that doom scrolling and being in front of a screen 24/7. Because I know I cannot be the only one. But if you're watching this on the replay too, again, I encourage you to participate. Put that in the comments. It's kind of an active poll with people that happen to be watching the show. But again, I just want to see how many people out there are dealing with it, because I know I'm not the only one. Because when we're talking to our coaching customers and members of Team Orange community, these are the things that I'm starting to see have been problems for a while, but these are the things I'm starting to see that are hitting kind of dangerous and alarming levels, especially in the IT industry. And that it worries me, it concerns me, because we're starting to see a lot more mental health issues. We're starting to see a lot more inability for just, those of us who are running businesses to be able to deal with the constant stress of life. And I think, being in the IT industry for, almost 30 years, it's a predominantly male-dominated industry, and it still holds true today. And again, that's what's kind of bothersome to me, is we as males don't like to talk about it. We don't want to admit when we're frustrated, that we're less likely to go out and reach for help. But that's what I want to, really talk about. If that is something that you're finding to be a problem, and again, I'm not asking you to admit that if you don't want to admit that here live on the show, but please reach out, because the IT industry is near and dear to my heart. And again, I have many customers, I have many colleagues and friends still in the industry, and I think that this problem is going to hit acute levels as we move forward, because I'm starting to see, people are at their breaking points. People that have ignored the fact that, okay, I have to do more, and that we're constantly hit with that mantra to do more, to work more. You got to grow, you got to scale, you got to be, you have to be what the next company looks like. And that's what I want to stop, because it has to stop. It's going to stop you at some point if we don't admit the fact that we need help. And, that's really what I want you to just take the time to think about. Is it time to find a way to disengage? Is it time to find a way to, break up with our tech, even if it's just for a day, even if it's just for 24 hours? And I know that when I ran my IT company, we feel like we can't do that. That, okay, what if a customer calls? What if somebody, goes down? I got a sinking feeling that, your customers will understand if you needed to take a day. Your customers will understand more than ever, especially if you're leading with topics like this. You're helping people with real problems, not just tech problems. Because tech problems make they make life problems sometimes for us. But that's what if you're in that place, where, life is just stressing you out and it's at an acute level, please reach out. Join a group, of people that are supportive of what you're trying to do, whatever you need to do. And that's, really what I wanted to stress with today's show, is the fact that, is it time to take a hard look at what we're doing? And is it time to break up with our tech? So I want to talk about 3 things that we're starting to do and that I've seen other companies have success with, that I think that might be helpful to implement. And one of the things we're trying to do is limit a meeting to 30 minutes. And that's just assuming that we even need to have the meeting at all. And if, less meetings now is more important than ever, because you'll tend to find that, we're just burnt out from it. There's too many meetings about meetings and meetings about having those meetings. And if that's your company, let me know. Because I think it's, we as leaders of our companies need to think about that too, what we're doing to our people. And, limiting meetings to 30 minutes, leave any social activity. And I think it's refreshing where, we've had virtual dinners with people and we limit it to 30 minutes where you don't have to feel like you need to be on there for an hour or an hour and a half. Just very limited, very concise. But just think about it. If that's something that you've implemented in your company, and again, let me know in the comments. If you're watching this after the fact, let me know, does that make sense? Do you have shorter meetings? But I tend to find that anything that we do can pretty much be done in about 30 minutes. Being on there any more than that gets frustrating, and again, just too many meetings in the middle of a week. One of the other things that I'm trying to do too is I took this idea. I was trying to find the article. They have this company was implementing no camera Fridays, where they have meetings, they have things, but you don't need to be on their camera. Because let's face it, being in front of a screen and feeling like you're being on stage with other people watching you, is nerve-wracking to the brain. It will burn you out. I have weeks where, man, I wish that, we could not have any cameras at all. But just taking a day of the week, it doesn't have to be Friday, but taking a day a week where you don't have to be on camera. You don't expect any of your staff to be on camera. That is a great way to get your sanity back. That is a great way to break up with your technology, even if it's just for a day. The next one is really kind of pushing the envelope on that, and I am going to try to do a lot more of this, is taking at least one day a month where I do a digital detox for 24 hours. No technology for 24 hours. And I'm thinking about making this a challenge for those of you watching the show and our Team Orange members, of holding each other accountable to doing this in the month of April. And really what made me think about it was I ran across the site this week. The site here, reviews.org, is actually paying, they're going to choose 2 people, one from Australia and one from the United States, to do a digital detox challenge, to spend 24 hours without technology. Here's their pitch. I'm just going to play it for you.
Reviews.org is doing another dream job, because these have proven extremely popular, so I'm really glad we're able to bring another one your way. This time, Reviews.org is challenging 2 people, one from the US and one from Australia, to take a 24-hour digital detox. If you can go 24 hours without using your technological gizmos, phone, laptop, TV, video games, etc., you get the idea, then you will take home $2,400. Now, I'll say that again, $2,400 for a 24-hour digital detox. Hey, 24 hours, that sounds easy, right? Maybe so, but maybe think again. On average, Americans, at least, I can't speak for the Australians, but Americans check their phones 160 times per day. that's once every 9 minutes if you're awake all day. If you sleep a solid 8 hours, that's once every 6 minutes. And they spend enough time watching TV to make it a full-time job, 56 hours and 42 minutes per week. Now, our chosen detoxers will also be given a safe to store their tech for the 24 hours, and they'll be given an Amazon gift card to put together a techless survival kit full of books, board games, whatever you can come up with to keep yourself busy during this challenge. Now, this is an all or nothing challenge, aside from any emergencies, of course. But if you cave in and use your tech during those 24 hours, the $2,400, it's gone. To apply for the Digital Detox Challenge, you must be 18 years of age or older and qualified to work in either the US or Australia. And we'll include links to the application forms and terms and conditions in the description, so please check there for those links. Be sure to follow us here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, etc. so you can stay up to date on this challenge. You'll want to make sure you're following us so that you can tune in to the live stream that we'll do on March 29th when we announce who the 2 Digital Detox Challengers will be. So, good luck, everybody. I'm really looking forward to this one. It should be fun.
So I believe you have until the 26th, March 26th, to register. So one in the United States, one in Canada. That's what they're picking. So I like the idea. I like the concept of this. So I think I want to adopt this for the month of April as we go into another year of this show. So if you're interested in that, give me a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments that if that's something that's interesting to you, whether or not you'd be interested in holding each other accountable and maybe getting some free prizes and some swag. And I'm going to try to line up some stuff from some vendors to be able to give away stuff. We're going to be doing some giveaways ourselves for those of you who want to participate. But I think it's a good idea. I think it's something that's key. So if there's anything that I left out, if there's anything that you think would be helpful to be able to get our sanity back and to be able to break up with our tech even for a day. So having shorter meetings, no cameras on a specific day of the week or multiple days, and then breaking up with your tech for 24 hours. Those would be my 3 tips, and those would be I think the easiest to implement. But if there's something that you think would be better, if you're watching this after the fact, something you think would be better, please put that in the comments. But I'm always appreciative of what people do, what people share, and the amount of knowledge that people share. And I always think the creativity is much more greater than what I'm able to come up with sometimes. So, but again, please put that in the comments. Tell me, what was the one thing about today's topic, about, this live stream or anything, that we've covered today that you think is relevant? What would be your number one takeaway for today? Hopefully, for me, re-implementing that, I did that a few years ago where we would do no tech day for a day here in our house. The problem is when we made everybody do it, but I'm going to make just myself do it for 24 hours to be able to go without using tech for 24 hours. So I will let you know. I will definitely, keep you posted whether or not we do a challenge similar to that in April. So, but I just wanted to thank, those of you who are taking the time, those of you who are watching this on the replay, those of you who are listening to the podcast, sharing your earbuds with me. I'm appreciative. I'm very humbled that you would take the time to hang out with me. I just am. We've been at this, for almost a year. It'll be a year next week. So that's something exciting that we have coming up next week is we will have done these weekly live streams. We missed a few weeks here. I'm not going to say we were consistent about, every single week. We're like Pat Flynn. Pat Flynn just wrapped up 365 consecutive days of live streaming. So, huge shout out to Pat Flynn. But if there's something that you appreciate about today's show, I would appreciate it if you would, give us a like, give us a share. Let me know if there's a topic. If you think mental health is something that we need to have as a topic, to bring on some other ways of, educating people on how to best deal with the frustrations and with the anxieties that we deal with. But again, I apologize that we missed last week's show. I had a few people reach out, so thank you so much. No, everything was fine. I just wanted to give you a little bit of a heads up on what we were able to do last week, what we wrapped up. We launched a mini course. Many people have asked me how to do a show like this for themselves. How do you get into LinkedIn Live? So what we did was we came up with a mini course on how to do LinkedIn Live. So these are the things that I've learned over the last year, some tips and tricks and tools that you can use to be able to go live on LinkedIn. Full checklist, so it tells you everything to do, everything to get ready, everything to test, everything to do during the show, after the show, during the follow-up, all of those things covered in a checklist. So if you want to check that out, go to orangenomad.com/Team Orange. And those of you who are already part of the Team Orange community, you want to jump into the portal and check that out because it already is opened up to you. And again, this isn't going to take hours and hours and hours to do. I believe the recordings are just over an hour. So again, this mini course will help you get started using LinkedIn Live. And that's what I'm hoping to do with this show going into next year, is to be able to do more one-on-one. I can't do LinkedIn Live training on LinkedIn. It's actually against their rules. Otherwise, I would be doing training on how to do this on LinkedIn. So again, you want to check that out if you haven't done so already. But I would be most appreciative for those of you who have joined Team Orange this month. We want to welcome you all this month. So Robert wanted to add to the show, thought-provoking about the Microsoft 355. I like that. Digital detox is easy. Yes, I think you starting with one day would be helpful. And if those of you who don't get the Microsoft 355, I guess it's an inside IT joke. But yeah, they've had some issues, but we're not surprised. Again, the taxing level of everybody being on tech every single day, it has been daunting, frustrating, and mind-numbing for a lot of us. So Terrence just caught the show, so welcome to the show, Terrence. You like the idea about scheduling some time with no tech? So yeah, definitely recommend it to keep your sanity, to keep things going for another year, being able to work from home. So those of you who don't want to join Team Orange, don't want to be part of the community, but you'd like to be able to contribute and like to be able to support the show, my friend Robert Gibbons, sporting the Team Orange swag. Get your hoodies, sweatshirts, t-shirts, all that good fun stuff. Again, run over to Team Orange or orangenomad.com/merch. Be able to grab stickers, whatever you like. But we appreciate that. We appreciate those of you who support the show. Those of you who show their support, especially people like Robert, who tune in every single week. We appreciate that. We have a global audience. And that's what I love about being able to do this show. So, being Wednesday, one of the things that I look forward to every week, another musician of mine who's actually celebrating his 52nd live stream this evening. That's in my house. It's Drake White Night. So definitely check him out. I came upon Drake and his music over the last year. Again, all of those new things that I've learned over the last year. But he does a live stream every Wednesday evening. I think it's at 7 Central. But yeah, check this out. Takes you to his YouTube page. But yeah, check it out. You can actually watch. It's a live stream, so you can watch it after the fact if you miss it. But check him out. I mean, it's very entertaining. His music's great. A wide diversity of musicians. And again, I'd love to be able to support folks like him who are doing this. This is Wednesday night therapy is what he calls it. So this, for me, is Wednesday afternoon therapy with the Do What Is Necessary live stream. So that's going to wrap us for the week. I appreciate it. Those of you who are still here, those of you who are watching the show on the replay, I just wanted to say thank you. And again, I'm humbled that you've taken the time to hang out with me today. So as I end the show and have every single show for the last year, always stay humble and kind and always do what is necessary. I'll see you on the next show.